Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Martial Universe Season 9 Part 49 based on novel. So let's start. Lightning flickered within the Thunder World, as the atmosphere seemed to have solidified at this moment. Lin Dong tightly pursed his lips. He had invested so much in order to obtain the Thunderbolt ancestral symbol. Now that he had finally arrived at this place, it was impossible for him to simply give up. Even if the one stopping him was Mo Luo. Mo Luo placed his hands behind him. His red eyes had an unknown light flickering in them. Similarly, he also has some designs on the Thunderbolt ancestral symbol. Ha ha. The Lightning Emperor looked at the both of them and smiled. He said, "This little fellow possessed the devouring ancestral symbol and his body is able to accommodate several ancestral symbols. However, your blazing ancestral symbol is exceptionally domineering by nature and it has the same characteristics as the Thunderbolt ancestral symbol. If you try to forcefully refine it, it is likely that you will be unable to handle it, despite your current strength. I am aware of this." Mo Luo did not deny this. He spoke in a faint voice, "I want the Thunderbolt ancestral symbol for another reason. Moreover, even if I am unable to refine the Thunderbolt ancestral symbol, I can find a suitable owner for it. Does Senior Mo Luo believe that I am unsuitable?" Lin Dong frowned gently and asked. "You already possess the devouring ancestral symbol and you have a bright future ahead of you. Although the devouring ancestral symbol's devouring properties allows you to accommodate other ancestral symbols, there will still be great risks involved. No one can guarantee that you will succeed." Mo Luo replied in a deep voice. "Moreover, you are far too weak. Just possessing the devouring ancestral symbol alone has already placed you in an extremely precarious position. Should you obtain the Thunderbolt ancestral symbol, once the Yimo learns about it, you will definitely be hunted down by them. I hope that the Thunderbolt ancestral symbol will go to a top-tier expert, who has already matured instead of a growing bud. This is because there is far too much risk involved when it comes to the latter. No one can guarantee whether that person will be targeted by the Yimo while he is still maturing. Moreover, the ancestral symbols are divine objects that guards this plane. If another world war erupts in the future, the owners of the ancestral symbols will be the main pillar of strength opposing the Yimo. Hence, we cannot afford to lose any of them." Lin Dong remained silent. It seems like, ultimately, Mo Luo simply did not trust that he would be able to control this many ancestral symbols and to keep them in safe hands. I believe that nothing I say will help to ease Elder Mo Luo's doubts. However, though I am not as powerful as Elder Mo Luo, when I first obtained the devouring ancestral symbol, I was merely at the chi creation stage. I do not have a powerful background and the only reason I was able to survive till today is because of my cautious nature. Perhaps Elder Mo Luo is unable to understand this with your status." Lin Dong inhaled a deep breath of air and spoke in a deep and soft voice. "Nonetheless, regardless of whether you believe in me or not, I will obtain the Thunderbolt ancestral symbol and refine it. I have confidence in myself. Perhaps in the future, I will end up becoming much more useful than Senior Mo Luo ever imagined." Lin Dong's eyes looked directly at Mo Luo. His eyes did not show any signs of submission or avoidance because of the latter's immense strength. His toughness was his usual style. "Ha ha, a bold little fellow indeed." The Lightning Emperor laughed. His eyes had a tinge of admiration which could not be concealed. Mo Luo glanced at the Lightning Emperor and slowly said, "You should be aware of the Thunderbolt ancestral symbol's domineering characteristics. What is the likelihood that it will accommodate his body?" The Lightning Emperor was startled. He immediately replied, "Although he possessed the devouring ancestral symbol, his chances of success should not exceed 40%. After all, the powers of the ancestral symbols are far too great, and it is extremely difficult for them to coexist in one body. Hence, if you fail, not only will you be unable to obtain the Thunderbolt ancestral symbol, your body will also self-destruct as it is unable to withstand the backlash from that frightening strength." Mo Luo's eyes turned towards Lin Dong and warned solemnly. "Little fellow, one should always know one's limit. You are extremely fortunate to obtain the devouring ancestral symbol. Trying to reach for too much might end up costing you more in the end. Lin Dong's eyes stared directly at Mo Luo. A moment later, he shook his head in a determined fashion. Both parties were extremely stubborn. Neither of them showed any signs of backing off. This is truly a conflict that gives one a headache. A helpless voice was suddenly emitted while both parties were arguing. After which, a white light was emitted from within Lin Dong's body. A light figure appeared in front of the stunned Mo Luo and the Lightning Emperor. Yang. Lin Dong looked at this light figure which had revealed itself and was startled. Who are you? Mo Luo's eyes stared at Yang in surprise. He could sense a relatively strange and ancient aura from the latter. This ancient feeling was actually comparable to an ancestral symbol. All of you can address me as Yang, of course, you can also call me the soul of the ancestor stone. Yang laughed and said, Ancestor stone? The Lightning Emperor's eyes suddenly hardened. He revealed some shock in his eyes as he looked at Yang. You referring to the ancestor stone, that item that was created by the ancient symbol ancestor after gathering numerous divine objects, and is ranked second on the ranking board of ancient divine objects. He is indeed my first owner. Yang gently nodded. This time around, even the eyes of Mo Luo revealed a grave expression. Only after reaching their stage was one able to appreciate just how powerful the symbol ancestor is. He is the most powerful and greatest person in the history of this plane. Those divine objects that he had spent a great amount of effort to create would likely be comparable to natural divine objects like the ancestral symbol. Of course, my current owner is this little fellow. Yang's hand pointed towards Lin Dong and laughed. It is unexpected that you, who is ranked second on the ranking board of ancient divine objects, would actually choose this little fellow as your owner. The Lightning Emperor involuntarily exclaimed. Ha ha, it is because I believe that he will be able to reach a stage that no one can imagine in the future. Yang replied. Isn't it a little too hasty to come to such a conclusion? Mo Luo frowned and asked. He did not put up any airs in front of Yang. This was because he clearly understood that though he was at Samsara stage, he posed little threat to the extremely experienced Yang. In fact, the other party had followed that great symbol ancestor into war and slain many powerful Yimo during the ancient world war. This little fellow is quite good indeed. However, can he really match up to the symbol ancestor? The Lightning Emperor mused. He had always admired Lin Dong. However, even he did not imagine that Lin Dong would be able to reach that shocking level. After all, over all these years, there was no one who was able to reach the level that the symbol ancestor reached. There is a lingering spirituality that the symbol ancestor placed within my body. Instead of saying that I am confident, it is more appropriate to say that the symbol ancestor is confident in him. Hence, that's why I chose him. Yang softly replied. The decision made by the symbol ancestor? The Lightning Emperor and Mo Luo had a change in their expressions. Their expressions were a little strange the next time they looked at Lin Dong. It was likely that the only person in this world who was chosen by that man was Lin Dong. Lin Dong was also startled as he looked at Yang. This was also the first time that he had heard of this. Could this be some random story that Yang actually made up? If that was truly the case, he was quite good at it. He actually managed to stun two great owners of the ancestral symbols. If the great symbol ancestor had somehow chosen him through fate, perhaps he is extraordinary indeed. The Lightning Emperor looked at Lin Dong in a strange fashion and laughed. It is unexpected that I am actually able to meet the little fellow chosen by the symbol ancestor before my death. Lin Dong was embarrassed. He did not know what to say. Hence, I hope that you let Lin Dong have the Thunderbolt ancestral symbol. He is perhaps the most suitable person for it. Yang looked at Mo Luo and said. Mo Luo knitted his brow. He did not expect that this fight would actually involve the symbol ancestor from the ancient times. However, in terms of seniority and experience, Yang clearly outranked him. Yang and the Lightning Emperor looked at a quiet Mo Luo. They were clearly aware that even though they were his seniors, the most powerful expert present was Mo Luo. They were simply an ancestor stone soul, which had yet to be fully healed, and an expert who is about to die. In a real fight, they were naturally no match for Mo Luo. Since you have such confidence in him, Mo Luo inhaled a deep breath of air in front of their eyes. His voice turned a lot deeper. I am unable to oppose the symbol ancestor's decision. Henceforth, I shall give him an opportunity. Mo Luo's bright red eyes swept over Lin Dong after he spoke. Receive 3 strikes from me and the Thunderbolt ancestral symbol is yours. Do you dare to accept this challenge? Lin Dong's dark black eyes revealed a heated expression. He nodded without any hesitation while his voice was filled with determination and courage. I do. Lin Dong clearly knew that it was going to be a difficult task for his current self to take 3 strikes from a Samsara stage super expert, notwithstanding the fact that he also had an ancestral symbol. However, regardless, the only thing he knew was that he must not give up on the Thunderbolt ancestral symbol in front of him. Even if there was only a slim chance that he could endure 3 strikes from Mo Luo, he did not want to give up. The Lightning Emperor was in shock as he stared at Lin Dong, who did not show any signs of fear despite being pressured by Mo Luo. He immediately nodded. The latter's tenacity was something that even he admired. Mo Luo saw Lin Dong nod, but did not continue speaking anymore. He spoke in a faint voice, I will give you an hour to recuperate. Upon hearing his words, without further ado, Lin Dong immediately sat down and circulated his devouring power, swallowing all the lightning energy that surrounded him. After which, he turned it into churning yuan power that surged throughout his meridians and limbs. He knew that the subsequent fight would be the most intense one that he ever had. Mo Luo was likely more powerful than the 3 great sect chiefs in Yuan Gate. Moreover, it was unlikely that the latter would hold back, since he wanted to obtain the Thunderbolt ancestral symbol as well. Standing beside him, when Mu Lingshan saw that Lin Dong was being forced to fight with Mo Luo, she glared at the latter angrily before she clearly said, bully. How shameless. Mo Luo curled his lips. Given his status, it was naturally impossible for him to engage in an argument with Mu Lingshan. He could only turn his head around and act as if he had not heard the little girl's protest. 3 strikes, it is not easy to receive them. The Lightning Emperor laughed as he stood at the side. Mo Luo is a genuine Samsara stage expert and an ancestral symbol owner. Even an ordinary reincarnation stage expert would have difficulty dealing with him, much less someone like Lin Dong, who was only at advanced profound life stage. The gap between the two could not be measured. There is no objective justice in this world. Mo Luo spoke in a faint voice. I have given him an opportunity. Even though it is a slim one, whether he is able to grab hold of it would be determined by his own abilities. Since he has been chosen by the symbol ancestor, I think that he should have the ability to create a miracle. Hopefully, however, this has gone a little too overboard. It seems like you are bullying a younger generation member. The Lightning Emperor nodded. Mo Luo helplessly glanced at the Lightning Emperor and said, when are you going to disappear? Soon. But who speaks as outrageously as you? The Lightning Emperor smiled. He glanced at his body, which was gradually becoming paler, and sighed. Those damned Yumo. I will destroy all the Yumo in this plane. Mo Luo stated in a faint voice. His voice contained a trace of extreme fanaticism. It seems like you have a major grudge with them. The Lightning Emperor looked at Mo Luo in surprise and remarked. When I first obtained the blazing ancestral symbol, I was also around his age. Mo Luo glanced at Lin Dong, who was recuperating. The hands under his sleeves slowly clenched up. However, I was unable to control myself and did not keep a low profile like him. The blazing ancestral symbol was exposed, and that ultimately drew the Yimo. My entire family was completely wiped out while my father had to sacrifice himself to aid my escape. From that moment on, I finally learned how to endure. Only after I stepped into the Samsara stage and established the Flame Divine Hall, did I expose the existence of the blazing ancestral symbol. If I had learned this lesson early on, perhaps, my family members would still be alive. The Lightning Emperor nodded slightly. It turns out that this Mo Luo also had such a past. The ancestral symbol might bring one strength, but it would also bring a great danger along with it. Subsequently, the Lightning Emperor ceased speaking while Mo Luo also descended into his memories. His expression changed while there was quite a great fluctuation in his emotions. An hour passed in the blink of an eye amidst this silence. Lin Dong's eyes suddenly opened at that moment. His dark black eyes had a glow surging within them. Majestic yuan power whistled and flowed throughout his meridians, filling him with strength that spread throughout every part of his body. Lin Dong lifted his head and suddenly stood up. Yuan power surged around him as his sharp eyes looked at Mo Luo. Immediately, he cupped his hands together and said, "Elder Mo Luo, I will be seeking your guidance." Mo Luo's eyes looked at the heated eyes of Lin Dong. His face twitched a little before he ultimately nodded in silence. "I will not hold back. I will do my best." Lin Dong parted his mouth into a smile. His body abruptly pulled back before majestic yuan power suddenly erupted. The aura around his body also swelled to his limit at this moment. Mo Luo's expression was indifferent as he looked at Lin Dong. Though he did not make any visible moves, the space within 100,000 feet radius gradually turned hotter. Crimson light gathered around Mo Luo at a shocking speed. Within a short couple of breaths' time, it had turned into a 10,000 feet large red beam. The red beam was filled with a terrifying ripple. Lin Dong watched the 10,000 feet red beam that Mo Luo had casually formed, before a grave expression surged within his eyes. Was this the strength of a samsara stage expert? One was actually able to create such a terrifying attack with a simple wave of one's hand. Ancient universe formation. Lin Dong inhaled a deep breath of air before a cry suddenly sounded from within his body. Bright light spluttered out from within his body and subsequently turned into a thousands feet large light formation in the sky in front of him. The light formation was extremely mysterious. It slowly rotated as waves after waves of unique energy ripple spread from it, causing the space itself to become a little distorted. The Lightning Emperor was a little surprised when he saw the formation that Lin Dong had summoned. With his eyesight, he was naturally able to detect the powers of this formation. Clearly, this item was extraordinary. What an interesting little fellow. He actually possessed so many divine objects. The Lightning Emperor muttered. The curiosity in his eyes increased. He really wanted to find out how Lin Dong was going to block the 3 attacks from Mo Luo. Ancestor Stone. Lin Dong once again let out a low cry. A warm white light whistled out and formed a light curtain behind the formation. The middle of the light curtain was an ancient stone talisman suspended inside. Meanwhile, Yang sat quietly on the stone talisman. Devouring ancestral symbol. Some red light vaguely rose from within Lin Dong's dark black eyes. Right now, he knew that this fight would likely going to be the toughest fight that he ever had. Hence, he did not conceal any of his trump cards. Majestic black light once again whistled out from above Lin Dong's head. After which, it turned into a 1,000 feet large black spiral hole behind the light curtain. The swirl rotated slowly while a devouring power was emitted from it. It continued to devour the energy surrounding it to increase its own strength. 3 great divine objects, however, I'm afraid that you are still lacking. The Lightning Emperor looked at the formation that Lin Dong had put up. He muttered and nodded slightly. If a samsara stage expert was to use these 3 great divine objects, it was likely that even Mo Luo would end up bruised and battered. Unfortunately, Lin Dong was merely at the advanced profound life stage currently, and there was still a massive gap between him and Mo Luo. Lin Dong summoned the devouring ancestral symbol. He inhaled a couple of deep breaths before the red light within his eyes became even more intense. With a wave of his sleeve, 20 thunderbolt cores came whistling out. After which, all of them were directly thrown into the devouring ancestral symbol. Bang bang. Wild and violent energy exploded within the devouring ancestral symbol, while the devouring power circulated crazily in an attempt to devour and refine those wild and violent thunderbolt force. Currently, he desperately needed these external boosts to increase his defenses. Otherwise, it would be impossible to block Mo Luo's attack. After 20 over thunderbolt cores were quickly devoured, the black hole also swelled abruptly. Moreover, there was also a majestic energy charging out from it, before it directly rushed towards the light curtain and the light formation in front. Using the devouring ancestral symbol's devouring power to absorb the energy of these thunderbolt cores, then using it to strengthen the other 2 divine objects, it is a good plan indeed. The Lightning Emperor praised quietly. With his sharp and experienced eyes, he was naturally able to see through Lindong's plans immediately. Even he had to admit that this was the only method Lindong had to block Mo Luo. It still isn't enough. The wild and violent energy that was formed from the 20 over Thunderbolt cores whistled throughout the layers of defense. However, Lindong still let out a deep roar within his heart. He clenched his teeth before a huge Thunderbolt core once again appeared. It was the Thunderbolt core that Zhuofei had left behind. This Thunderbolt core, it is formed from Zhuofei He. The Lightning Emperor looked at the huge Thunderbolt core and was startled. His eyes revealed a complicated expression. He was naturally extremely familiar with the fluctuation from his former subordinate. Mo Luo has really forced this little fellow into a tight corner. The huge Thunderbolt core was directly thrown into the devouring ancestral symbol the moment it appeared. After which, the black hole trembled intensely. Waves after waves of terrifying energy spread in a wild manner. After which, they poured into the defenses in front. After this move by Lindong, one could see that his three-layer of defenses, namely the black hole, light curtain, and light formation, had spread to a 10,000 feet radius. They appeared extremely spectacular when looking from afar. Both of Lindong's eyes had turned red. As he looked at this formation that was created with all his might, the smile on his lips contained a trace of insanity. He suddenly lifted his head and looked at Mo Luo, who was watching him with an indifferent expression. "Elder Mo Luo, please attack." Lindong's cry, which was accompanied by a trace of madness that caused one's expression to change, reverberated over this lightning realm in a low and deep fashion. 3 layers of solid defense proudly stood in the air. Shocking energy fluctuations were continuously emitted, causing space itself to become somewhat distorted. Though you are merely at the advanced profound life stage, you are actually able to set up such powerful defenses. It must be said that you are indeed quite incredible. Mo Luo stood in the air. Red light that spanned 10,000 feet circulated around his body like a lake. He looked at the defenses that Lindong had set up by using everything he had, before he nodded slightly. Finally, he uttered those words in a faint voice. "However, I am sorry to inform you that your defenses cannot stop me." Mo Luo's eyes suddenly turned stern after his final word sounded as the entire place immediately turned scorching hot. In the next instant, Mo Luo extended his finger and pressed it onto the empty air. Bang! This entire world seemed to explode the moment Mo Luo pressed downwards with his finger. The lightning energy, which originally permeated the area within 100,000 feet radius of Mo Luo, was actually forcefully scattered at this moment as an unusually hot and violent yuan power replaced it. The 10,000 feet red light that lingered around Mo Luo seemed like an awakened red dragon at this moment. As it slowly rose up, its body began to bend like a strung bow. Break! Mo Luo's faint voice was emitted as that 10,000 feet large red light suddenly rushed forward. Space itself was directly shattered the moment it rushed forward. It is coming. The red light was reflected in Lindong's eyes while the smile on his youthful face turned increasingly crazier. The red light was indescribably fast. Lindong merely saw a flash, before he noticed that the 10,000 feet red light had already appeared outside of his ancient universe formation. After which, it mercilessly crashed onto the latter like a falling meteorite. An indescribable loud sound suddenly resounded within the thunder world. Monstrous bright red light swept apart like magma and filled the horizon. The ancient universe formation trembled intensely. Wave after wave of disintegration force poured forth in an attempt to disintegrate that frightening red light. However, the formerly unstoppable disintegration force had met an extremely troublesome opponent this time around. The energy within the red light had agglomerated until it reached a fairly terrifying extent. Therefore, despite the miraculous property of the disintegration force, it was helpless against the red light. Crack! The ancient universe formation defense merely lasted for about a dozen breaths' time, before Lindong's pupils suddenly shrunk. He had seen that many cracks were swiftly spreading across it. Bang! The cracks rapidly extended. After which, red light flickered and a loud sound rang out. The entire ancient universe formation was immediately shattered. This was the first time that his ancient universe formation had been shattered ever since Lindong had obtained it. The strength of a samsara stage expert so terrifying. However, the current Lin Dong did not have the time to think about this. This was because the fire dragon-like red light was ruthlessly charging towards the second layer, the ancestral stone defense, without a decrease in momentum after having broke the ancient universe formation. Yang's expression was solemn as he sat on the ancestral stone. Gentle white light overflowed and rushed out, causing that light barrier layer to become as sturdy as a 10,000 feet tall iron wall. The current ancestral stone had yet to completely recover from its injuries. Additionally, Lin Dong was only at profound life stage. Otherwise, with its ability to slay devils back then, even Mo Luo would be no match for it in a head-on fight. Bang! The red light whistled as it arrived. Finally, it landed on the light barrier. Another earth-shaking loud sound appeared as the light barrier grew fainter at a shockingly rapid speed. A helpless sigh was emitted from within the now faint light barrier. In the next instant, the light barrier abruptly crumbled and the light from the ancestral stone dimmed. Finally, it shot back into Lin Dong's body. The second layer, the ancestral stone defense, had crumbled. Lin Dong's eyes were red. He did not expect that the two layers of powerful defenses that he had used all his strength to set up would actually turn out to be so useless against Mo Luo. Since I have to fight, I will do so until the end. At this moment, Lin Dong was just like a gambler who had staked his entire fortune. His eyes were scarlet red and a low roar was emitted. That final black hole layer began to rotate at an even faster rate. The red light continued to mercilessly gallop towards him. Finally, it viciously slammed into the final line of defense that Lin Dong had set up. Boom! The enormous black hole frantically rotated. Devouring power was unleashed at full strength as it continuously swallowed the wild and violent energy that permeated the red light. The two forces were locked in a stalemate at this moment. Lin Dong stared intently at the wildly rotating black hole. Although the stalemate continued, his heart suddenly sunk. This was because he sensed that the effect of the devouring power was rapidly weakening. The energy within the red light was too vast and mighty. With the devouring power that he was currently able to utilize, it was impossible to completely devour this energy. Traces of bright red light suddenly shot out from within the black hole as the rotating speed of the black hole rapidly fell. Clearly, its devouring had already reached the limit. However, after these three layers, the 10,000 feet red light had also shrunk to 1,000 feet. Clearly, it had also exhausted a great amount of energy along the way. Bang! The red light that seeped out from within the black hole grew increasingly dense. After 10 breaths, wild and violent bright red energy suddenly swept out from within it as the black hole was directly blown apart. His three mighty defenses had been completely shattered at the moment. Lin Dong's body was completely exposed under the preying red light. You have lost. Mo Luo spoke indifferently. Even if I no longer have any defenses, I still have my body. Red light flashed within Lin Dong's eyes. Soon after, he roared at the sky. Bright green light erupted from his body as 35 green dragon light tattoos flew out and danced around him. 35 green dragon light tattoos swirled around Lin Dong. Lin Dong took the initiative and charged forward, ruthlessly slamming against the red light which had shrunk to 100 feet in front of Mu Lingshan's stunned eyes. Bang! Wild and violent energy unfurled in the sky. The charging green light was directly sent flying while Lin Dong wildly spurted fresh blood as he was flung backwards. The 35 green dragon light tattoos had been blown apart. What a ferocious little fellow! The Lightning Emperor looked at the green light figure whose bloody body had been sent flying 100,000 feet. After which, he looked at the red light which had shrunk until it was annihilated as a shocked expression involuntarily appeared in his eyes. The first attack from Mo Luo was actually withstood by Lin Dong. Lin Dong was covered in blood as he stood in the distant sky. He could feel the intense pain within his body. However, his eyes appeared exceptionally excited. He quickly wiped off the blood on his face. He knew that he had managed to receive Mo Luo's first attack. A momentary silence appeared in the sky. Mo Luo was stunned as he watched this scene. However, he quickly recovered his senses and spoke in a faint voice, "My first attack has already broken all your tricks. Is there really a need to continue in your current state? Elder Mo Luo, there is no need to say such useless words at this moment. Lin Dong lifted his head. His eyes were bright red as he stared at Mo Luo. Promptly, he grinned. Blood involuntarily flowed out from the corners of his mouth as he spoke. Mo Luo nodded. He waved his hand and another red light appeared. This time around, this red light was even stronger than before. There were even some wisps of flames lingering over it. Isn't this a little too vicious? The Lightning Emperor could not help but remark upon seeing this. Mo Luo ignored him. He waved his hand as the several tens of thousands feet large red light once again shattered space and blasted towards Lin Dong with lightning speed. He wanted to find out how Lin Dong, who had lost his 3 great divine objects, was going to block this attack. Lin Dong spat out a mouthful of bloody foam. When he stared at the wild and violent red light that was charging towards him, he suddenly grinned. Promptly, he clenched his fist as a silver symbol appeared in his hand. Even Mo Luo will not be able to make Lin Dong admit defeat. This video will end here.